offering it, so that will be lifted back up. More rapturing. An expansion out into infinite wisdom. A contraction back as embodied compassion. Compassion can be equated simply with presence. A low lunge, high plank, or three-legged down dog through the grace of the vinyasa. And back to the jewel at the center of the lotus. And the down dog, recalibrating, and settling the pranas after the flow. And the flow of poses stokes the flow of pranas. The flow of pranas holds the pose and increased stillness and authenticity. Inhale, the right foot lifts, wide to the right elbow, no need to show off. Keep the back foot grounded as you press it back to Trianga. Step to a low lunge. Unwind to warrior two. If you have hip issues, stay here. If it feels safe, back to a low lunge. Again, to Virabhadra Dwe. You can increase the challenge of it by coming to warrior half instead of a low lunge, and expand to warrior two to be held. And the flow lubricates the hip joints for increased openness in Virabhadra Dwe here. And the front knee anchors the external spiral of the back thigh. And the prana loops loosely up and down the limbs. It concentrates in the joints. You can feel it obviously in the hands here as they're hovercrafted. Once the alignment is dialed in or intuited, you can return to the mantra and visualization. Exhale to side angle pose. Top arm floats down and around to lifted triangle. And back out to side angle, exhaling. And one more time. Puraka, Uttita Trikonasana. Rechaka, Uttita extended. Parsva, side, Kona, angle. Asana pose. Strong line of pranic energy at 45 degrees from the anchored back foot blade to the top hand. No angle at the wrist, elbow, or armpit. And the top rib cage alive with light. And the petals of the lotus, massaging it from the inside out as the intercostals expand, increasing the lung capacity. Down and around to Abhaya Trikonasana. Slide into triangle pose as you exhale. The traditional pose is at the top thumb. You can have the bottom hand on the ankle or shin. I tent it at the instep sometimes if the stance is long, which gives me a little leverage to open the heart and the top rib cage. Top arm down and around to warrior two, wide open, inhaling. And exhale a low lunge. High plank pose, Puraka, or three-legged down dog into upward facing dog. And back to downward facing dog pose. And left foot lifts, inhale. Wide to the left elbow. Keep the back foot grounded unless you can float. Float it back to Trianga Svanasana. Step through to a low lunge as you exhale. Unwind to warrior two. Hold still or twice more. Maybe warrior half instead of low lunge if it's safe and accessible. Expanding. Lotus blossoms deep in the front knee. The wingspan wide. the shoulder blades draw toward each other as the fingertips lengthen away from one another, and the spine is vertical. And all the fundamental alignment principles of right angles, straight lines, and cohesive planes embodied. You can see that my front knee should be a little deeper in flexion for that full right angle. Exhale to side angle, and down and around, Abhaya Trikonasana, lifted triangle, and down and around, Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Lubricating the lateral body with the flow, on the shoulder joints, and exhale, lengthen out into it. Notice the anglelessness through my right lateral body, and the top rib cage blossoming, and the shoulder blade stays plugged in, even though the top fingertips and back ankle are lengthening away. A subtle supination to the top arm and internal spiral, and down and around. Prepare for triangle, and slide into triangle. You notice I didn't lift the triangle there. I simplified it a little bit with arms parallel to the earth, which is a simpler option. And then the lifted triangle, just triangle prep. And gazing to the top thumb there, instead of at the bottom big toe for a more traditional variation. I can feel it in my top shoulder. It's a little tweakier. The breath is full, the hips are open, the base of the big toes anchor an external thigh spiral, down and around Virabhadra Dve, and exhale a low lunge. High plank or Trianga. And let the breath carry you through, surfing the shakti, back to the stillness at the center. And that was prep for Warrior Dance B. Now we'll flow with it. Right foot lifts, inhaling, in steps, exhaling. Unwind to Warrior 2, and exhale to side angle. And down and around to lifted triangle, inhale. And slide into triangle pose as you exhale. And down and around from the heart blossom to Virabhadra Dve. Exhale a low lunge. And the breath carries you. High plank and through. Let the left foot lift and be stepped by the exhalation. And from deep roots, unwind to Warrior 2. Exhale to side angle. And down and around, Abhaya Trikonasana. And slide into Utthita Trikonasana. And down and around, Virabhadra Dve, Puraka. And exhale a low lunge. High plank. The upper arm bone not dipping below 90 degrees as you float to up dog and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Roll out to plank, inhaling. Exhale here, left arm up to side plank, Vasisthasana. I have my left foot in front of my right, heel to toe instead of stacked. And gives it a little added support, safer for the joints of the weight-bearing arm, which should not be compromised. A simpler gaze is at the bottom thumb. Only if the pose is unwavering may you exalt the gaze to the top thumb. The angle of the wrist not dipping below 90 degrees, and slowly to a high plank. And inhale to the opposite side. Notice the arm circle in the transition. Circle is key when you begin to bring it into flow. The intention is for a side body core strengthening flow without compromising the shoulders. So if you have shoulders issues, take it easy. Top arm forward and down. The other arm sweeps back and up as you transition a full circle back to high plank as you exhale, a full circle back to Vasisthasana. Keep it simple like that, or chaturanga on the exhalation to challenge yourself. It's a little absurd, but if you got it in you, you're welcome to play with that variation. High plank as you exhale and be held for 5 fierce freaking breaths. But a quality of unwavering calm. And the pranas are flowing, though the body is still. And the heels and the head lengthen away from each other. The pelvis, the sacrum tilts down a little, bringing cohesion to the poles and strength to the core. Inhale to the knees and exhale, Utthita Balasana, extended child's. Roll up and open wide, the lotus blossoms. Double wrap the right arm under the left, tuck the chin and the elbows in. A trinity of breaths here. Untangling medial scapular knots. Jnana mudras are interlocked, point your fingers to the thumbs, and they're interlocked, open wide by the inhalation, and radiant, so full of light. Left arm under, double wrap, palms together, interlock the wisdom seal. The medial scapular ice chunks melted